Hello and welcome to the next installment in the Resident Evil series, Resident Evil 2. I'll be using its GOG port based on the PC port from all the way back in the late 90s, though I'll be using the Rebirth mod for reasons I'll explain later. This is a follow-up to my previous videos. Here's a link to a nifty playlist I made for the previous games I've looked at so far. This is going to be my very first time playing the original Resident Evil 2, so I'm really looking forward to what changed between the first to the second. There can't be dialogue again.
The likes of which even God has never seen.
Why does Leon have cheese whiz colored hair? I'm sorry, I'm so used to how Leon looks in the later games, and his in-game model looks just fine, but in the CGI movies, what is up with his hair color? And are the tank controls back like Michael Keaton in Batman?
Shall we dance?
Let's see just how good is the masterpiece Resident Evil 2 Original.
The deadly. Go on. You know what it's like to get it right between the eyes? To see the juice squirt out of your family like the 4th of July? Oh, ever hear a scream so loud it scrambled your intestines? And the burning light right before the fall?
Only a pro could do this. Recognize him?
That's the one!
Capcom Pocket Pro, the only portable cartridge system that plays Resident Evil 2.
I have stated previously, I have limited experience with the earlier Resident Evil titles, since I played Resident Evil 7 onward. This is especially true with the original RE2. I'm pretty sure I've only seen the PS1 version at maybe a Costco or Best Buy years ago. I distinctly remember the Spider-Man game that came out in 2000 at a Costco. Best Buy, I'm a little more iffy about, since I remember getting the Hot Wheels Turbo Racing for N64 at the time. Basically, I'm saying I'm old and that other games had my attention at the time. For many years, I only heard of the original Resident Evil 2 and then played its remake in 2019. So playing the original on GOG? Holy crap! While RE1 still holds up, the original RE2 felt like I was playing the later games. It was also interesting reading about the development of the game, especially since the team of the time restarted it when they did. If what I read is accurate, the team built up a game internally called Resident Evil 1.5. This version had a different story and some different characters, notably with Elsa Walker part of the scrapped build. This version was cancelled in the spring of 1997, and the team would go on to make the build that was released in 1998 to massive praise. Just imagine the process of making this game, not being satisfied with the build, and just restarting it, and delaying the release just a bit to make this build. Just imagining it is wild. Thankfully, praise would vary from the graphics, atmosphere, and music being dead on, with being like a product from Hollywood, among some quotes. Criticisms had a trend with inventory being annoying, which I'd argue was much better here than in 1, and being unrealistic since items, despite their size, took up the same slot size.
Excuse me, what?
And there was criticism about the item boxes being magically connected.
What? What the fuck?
These criticisms were weird to read, especially this one, because, oh, I don't know. RE2 is a video game, not a fucking realistic sim. What do you mean it's unrealistic? Okay. The one criticism I could agree with is the voice acting being a bit wonky. Later on about that. RE2 sold about 4.9 million copies on just the PlayStation 1, with later versions following it with ports to the GameCube, N64 of all things, Dreamcast, PC, and this thing called the Game.com. No, I'm not making that one up. It's actually called the game.com. This weird handheld that came out in 1997 and had Resident Evil 2 in this 2.5D format and was made by Tiger Electronics. If you don't know them, I want to open your head like Bobobo and let me live there.
So, honey, do you like our new condo cranium?
Yes.
Okay, one more Bobobo clip.
Now watch this. Ha!
Oh, yeah!
I can kick too. Yeah. Ha!
Why use Bobobo? Because it's hilarious, that's why. Saying Resident Evil 2 was a success would be an understatement, especially compared to its predecessor, and from what I've seen and played, a good amount of mechanics for Resident Evil games started with this entry. Speaking of those said mechanics, what makes RE2 so different from its older sibling? Just like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2 has players pick between two characters, with Leon, soon-to-be badass Kennedy, and Claire Redfield to pick for the initial playthrough. And just like Resident Evil 1, are returning tank controls that this time around actually weren't clunky, being far more responsive and snappy this time. Though, to be fair, this could be from me using the Rebirth mod for RE2. For some reason, the GOG port wasn't playing the FMVs, so I used that for them to work properly. Aside from that, the game is practically the same as if it was freshly installed. It probably also helps that most of the Raccoon City Police Department and subsequent areas aren't as tight, making moving around much easier. What is also impressive is that for a majority of the game, I didn't even notice that inventory space was 6 slots for both characters. I honestly thought there was a lot more item space for both of them, probably from me having item management down. These can also be expanded with a pack found in the station, though I didn't grab it until much later in the game. That's how well Resident Evil 2 handled key items. It probably helped that, like the remake of RE1 to come out later, both characters have a bonus item that doesn't take up any slot. A lighter for Leon and the lockpick for Claire. The weapons got an overhaul as well. Both characters get pistols, with Leon's having more ammo capacity than Claire's, and each getting the combat knife, which still sucks per tradition. And each character gets differing weapons. Claire can find a grenade launcher that uses various ammo types for many enemies, with plentiful ammo to find if used wisely, a bowgun that can do a lot of damage with limited ammo, I didn't use this one as much, and a weapon called the Spark Shot that shoots lightning bolts of uselessness for many enemies, being extremely situational. I used this weapon maybe twice in my second playthrough. Leon gets more traditional weapons like a shotgun and magnum, finding parts in the game to combine with them, making more powerful variants. Also, they give a free ammo refill when they're first made, FYI. And a rocket launcher for a small bit. There's also a flamethrower that's good for a handful of enemies. Also, both characters can unlock a submachine gun that uses a percentage bar for ammo capacity like the Spark Shot and Flamethrower, doing massive damage. Weapons help even more since there's a lot of zombies crawling around the place, so there's a lot more ammo this time too. Zombies are the same as before, with dismemberment mechanics this time, tearing off arms or even separating the torso from the legs. For a game of its age, I have to admit, these are impressive. There's also some new enemies in the game, notably the lickers. These things crawl around the place and can one-shot if your health is low, but unlike the hunters, anytime I died, it felt like my fault, since they can be dodged much easier and taken down with a shotgun or a grenade launcher pretty quickly. Herbs still work the same, with the character models actually showing damage, and if damaged enough, will become slower, meaning keeping a decent condition is optimal for movement. What makes RE2 very different from RE1 is this scenario A-B system. Depending on choices in scenario A, the B scenario can either become easier or more difficult. In my case, I made it far more difficult. This varies from deploying barriers in one area or leaving items for the other character or not, among various other factors. This system, called Zapping, coined by Hideki Kamiya in the development of RE1, unfortunately didn't make it into RE1. Zapping has the A scenario with Claire or Leon first, then switches perspective with new hazards in the B scenario. Most notably, B has the tyrant named Mr. Etz, who chases the players in parts of the game, and also is the sponsor of Etzlats, guaranteed to relax your bowels, property of Umbrella Corps.
Give it to you.
This mechanic gives incentive to play the game a lot more depending on who's played first. The story alters just a bit and changes how some puzzles work, making the B scenario different enough from the A scenario. Speaking of the puzzles, they weren't terrible and were a bit easier to solve. Just good item management for a lot of them helps. Making its gloriously hammy return is the voice acting. It's that campy bad that I personally enjoy.
I saw the signal. What's going on?
Nothing. False alarm.
Are you sure?
At least to a point.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Not to bash Claire Redfield, great character, it's just her voice acting when talking to Sherry in some cutscenes rubs me the wrong way.
Sherry, I've been looking everywhere for you. I was so worried. We've got to go now, honey, okay? If we stay here, that monster will find us. Let's go.
No, I won't.
What's the matter? Don't you trust me? Don't worry. You'll be fine. Come on. Let's go.
I don't know why she talks like that in some of her scenes. It's just weird. But at least Leon is that fun camp to be expected with the original Resident Evil game.
It's went insane.
The radio's out.
You're a cop, right?
Yeah, first day on the job. Great, huh? Name's Leon Kennedy. Nice to meet you.
And side character Ada arguably having the best voice actor in the entire game, except for one part.
Leon, that woman was... I have to talk to her.
Nice execution.
You're doing terrific.
Despite the dialogue being that fun camp, RE2 is a masterclass in ambient sounds and music that actually made me jump and go, oh shit! So, kudos. Unlike its predecessor, RE2 has lots of things to unlock as well. First off is that when finishing a full scenario run, Leon and Claire can find a zombified Brad at RPD to get a special key. It unlocks a locker for costumes and a weapon for Claire, which in retrospect seems a bit unfair in my opinion.
Fair? I'll tell you what's not fair.
Oh, my finger.
And Leon gets two outfits, with Leon's leather jacket having him hold his pistol sideways and shoots a lot faster from what I can tell. Other than outfits, it's possible to unlock infinite ammo weapons such as an RPG for finishing scenario A in under 2.5 hours, with an A or B rank, and a Gatling gun for scenario B in under 3 hours with no saving. The no save run got me stressed out by the end of the run. Thankfully, since RE2 is short, at least if you're doing a run like this, I didn't get too upset whenever I failed a run. It took me about 3 tries. To figure out the ranking system is also a bit convoluted, so I'd rather not go into it. It's a very sensitive list on what can help versus what doesn't help to get a rank. Also unlocked is 4th Survivor, playing as Hunk, an Umbrella soldier mad dashing to the RPD helipad for extraction. This mode can be really tough since Hunk has very limited inventory, but since it's short, it's actually pretty fun. After Hunk is the hilarious Tofu Survivor, where instead of Hunk, it's a giant piece of tofu playable that can take more damage and only carries some herbs and a knife. And the more damage it takes, the more red it gets. And also it made some random sounds in Japanese. I don't know what they mean, but it's pretty funny. Arguably, this is the toughest mission of RE2, but it's a funny bonus regardless. Another mode is Extreme Battle, letting players pick 1 out of 4 characters, with even Chris playable, in a mission-based mode to plant bombs with limited ammo and their own weapon loadouts. It's pretty fun. There's also this Arranged mode, letting players pick difficulties and changing weapons a little bit, at least from what I understand. I didn't play this since I felt RE2 wasn't too difficult already. It's really cool that RE2 gives more as it's played regardless, and may have started that tradition for future Resident Evil titles. And honestly speaking, if this is the first Resident Evil game anyone plays, it's not a bad place to start with how refined the gameplay is and that the story isn't hampered by continuity, making it a great spot for newer people to join. Speaking of the storyline, like I always do, since this is the story, I'll put in a timestamp to skip it for anyone that wants to go in blind for the game. Also, I'll be using the more canon run of Player A and Leon B. It just makes it a little easier to do the story. The story of Resident Evil 2 begins roughly 2 months after the Arklay Mansion and T-Virus Labs destruction. Coming into Raccoon City is Claire Redfield, trying to figure out where or what happened to Chris since after RE1, he seemingly disappeared. While on the way, new officer Leon Kennedy is driving into town since there hadn't been any communication from the RPD for a while. While investigating a bar, Claire encounters zombies and Leon, the two of them driving away and ending up stranded at the police department and separated. Claire finds out that Chris left the country looking into Umbrella's headquarters in Europe, when finding a child wandering the station right before meeting up with Leon, and they look to find a way out of town and find any survivors along the way. Claire then meets Sherry Birkin, a child that is running from a creature, and Leon meets Ada Wong, saying she's looking for John, a researcher from Chicago. While searching for a way out, Sherry and Claire encounter Irons, the police chief, who was taking bribes from Umbrella to hide their experiments and their work on the new G-Virus, right before he barely evades a lawsuit from Fox with a chest burster. Is it Fox or is it Disney now? I don't know. Leon, meanwhile, encounters the tyrant Mr. Etz that pursues him in the station. With Ada, he finds a reporter that was about to blow the whistle on Irons when, after Ada encounters Sherry and gets her pendant, is killed by some creature. Leon and Claire will also encounter Annette Birkin, the wife of William Birkin, who was a G-Virus researcher who, after Umbrella came to take it, used the virus on himself and is the creature wandering around the station, and also helps Ada find a G-Virus sample in Sherry's pendant without her, well, I should say, it's more like Ada was able to figure it out, thanks to Annette, I should say. The Birkin creature also infects Sherry when everyone eventually finds their way into the Umbrella lab, hidden deep underground, with both characters fighting a persistently mutating Birkin along the way. Claire searches for a vaccine to help Sherry, while Leon encounters Annette, who reveals Ada is a spy after the G-Virus. And Leon says he knows Ada after like 2 hours? Sure, man. When he finds a way out and Mr. X attacks, seemingly killing Ada. Annette ends up killed by Birkin, and Leon, with Claire's help, starts up a train after Leon destroys Mr. X with a mysterious shadow giving him an Ada advantage. Sherry is cured when the train is attacked by the Birkin creature, leaving Leon to fight it off, and the group escape the train before it explodes, taking out the creature. The trio begin making the trek away from Raccoon City, and Leon says it's up to them to take down Umbrella. And that goes places. I tell you what, this plot point goes so far into the series. And that's the story for Resident Evil 2 with Claire A and Leon B.
Save my daughter. And tell her I'm sorry I wasn't a better mother. Tell her I love her. Sherry.
Annette!
I am one of all employees. I'm going to the platform. I am one of all employees. I'm going to the platform.
Okay, so I didn't have many expectations when coming into RE2, but I loved the remake. So when I booted up RE2, even if it was with the Rebirth mod, I was so impressed with the game that I can absolutely say that if anyone wants to get into the series, RE2 is the best jump on point. The controls are polished to where it doesn't feel like that tanky jank. The OST gives excellent tone to every area, with the camera angles too. The story is far improved, and the zap mechanic makes it fun to play through multiple times, with RE2 continuing to reward the more it's played with items and game modes. I can honestly say that Resident Evil really started a gold standard with 2 here, since a good amount of the mechanics I experienced here made it into the RE1 remake later. Having a more coherent story helped understand what's going on much better, and even with some wince-inducing voice lines, the campy dialogue is still enjoyable. The puzzles this time were also much simpler, making the pacing of RE2 a marked improvement on its predecessor. So I definitely understand why so many people say that RE2 is not only a masterpiece of game media, but also talked up as the best Resident Evil ever made. And understand even more that when the formula changed, why the opinion of the series became so divisive on how it should be made. I can recommend the GOG port since it's still well done, but for whatever reason, if the cutscenes don't show up, getting the Rebirth mod helps to get it fully up and running. Even then, Resident Evil 2 holds up so many years later and makes me wonder how well it holds up compared to its remake. If you enjoyed watching up to this point, I really appreciate it. Leaving a like, comment, or even subscribe helps me to see if my shenanigans are entertaining to you, the viewers. With that, some question. Who is that mysterious figure that gives Leon an Ada advantage against Mr. X?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Why does Umbrella have a proclivity for blowing up places?
I have the weirdest boner right now.
And does Leon follow up with taking down Umbrella?
Narp?
Let me know if I missed anything, as I probably did, or even whatever experience with Resident Evil 2 you had. Or will you go out and try Resident Evil 2 via GOG or the Station of the Duck? Any hoosies. Next time is the Resident Evil 2 remake. Tune in next time. Bye-bye.
So, it's finally over. Sherry, you look terrible.
No worse than you, Claire.
Come on, time to leave.
Now? What's wrong? Is something following us?
We have to go. We don't have any time to waste.
Go? Where?
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.
So that was a fucking lie.